Video, we will revise chapter 4 of the Sec 1 NA textbook, which is on basic algebra and algebraic manipulations. Now we will first focus on basic algebra. An algebraic expression, I must stress on the word expression versus equation, which you will learn later. Now what are expressions? Expressions are things like 2x plus 1. This is called an expression. In an algebraic expression, there is no equal sign. You see, you do not see any equal sign. But for equation, 2x plus 1 equals to 5. When you see a equals to 5, this is called equation. It is no longer just an expression. Alright, so some examples of expressions in algebraic form are 2n plus 1. Now the n is called an algebraic variable. Algebraic variable. Okay, so in short, variable. Now the common variable that we encounter are x and y. There are many other variables. Now there are some basic operations that you must know for algebra. For addition, it's clear cut, a plus b, subtraction, a minus b. Now for multiplication, this is where it gets confusing. Now a times b in algebraic form, you have to write in algebraic form like this, a, b. Now on top of that, if you encounter things like number and algebra, let's say 5 times x for instance, you must write it as 5 in front, x at the back. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot write it as x5. It doesn't mean anything. So this is a wrong writing. The 5 must be in front. Okay, I hope that is clear. Even if it means the question was x times 5, you have to still write 5x. Okay, the number 5 must be in front. Next, we have learned this in the previous topic already. A times A times A, please simplify as A power 3. For division, A divided by B must be written as a fraction A out of B. Now in this chapter, you will also learn the evaluation of algebraic expressions. Now evaluation actually also means you will substitute a value of the variable into the given expression. For instance, let's say you have 2n plus 1 and they told you to substitute n equals to 3. Now how to do it? Now usually we don't do it like that. We'll write it as, let me just change this. We have been teaching you when you substitute, please use brackets. So 2 bracket 3. Alright, 2 substitute 3, 2 bracket 3. And then don't forget there's a plus 1. The result, press calculator, 87. Now the tricky part about this topic is when negative numbers are involved. So let's look at this question. Substitute a equals to negative 5, b equals to 4, and c equals to negative 1. Now the a is simple. Just substitute negative 5 with bracket. But the c, be very careful. This minus sign and the c minus sign, they are different. They are different. So when you write a minus c square, the minus is still outside of the bracket. Now, and the square is there. Inside the bracket, you put the minus 1. Now after this, you press calculator, exactly what you see together, I repeat, together with the brackets, exactly where they are placed, and you will get this answer. Now one of the dangers in this particular topic is this part. There are some students who write negative 1 and then the square, somehow they write it inside the bracket. This is wrong. The square is outside the bracket. The square is outside the bracket. Alright? Okay, so this is a quick revision on basic algebra. We will now move on to algebraic manipulations. Now, in algebraic manipulations, there are some basic rules of multiplication and division that I want to remind everybody. So, multiplication first. Multiplication. Okay, for example, let's say you have positive times positive. Positive times positive equals to positive. Now, what examples do I have? Let's say positive 5 times x. You do not see any negative signs, right? This is 5x without any negative signs. Number 2. If you see x times x with no negative signs, the result is x squared without negative signs. Okay, so we consider it as there is a positive here, it's still positive. Number 2, if you see a positive times a negative, the result is negative. Example, 5 times negative x. The result is negative 5x. Next one, x times negative x is negative x squared. Number 3, negative times positive is negative. Examples are negative 5 times x, that would be negative 5x. Negative x times x is negative x squared. And last case, number 4, negative times negative equals positive. Examples, negative 5 times negative x is a positive 5x. You do not see any more negative signs. Likewise, negative x times negative x is a positive x squared. Again, you do not see any negative signs. This is for multiplication. For division, you will observe similar ideas. Case 1. Positive divided by positive is a positive value. So examples would be positive 5 divided by this x. Okay, the result is still positive 5, positive x. Number 2. Positive divided by negative is negative. Example, positive 5, and if you see a negative x, the result is negative 5 out of x. Number 3. Negative divided by positive is negative. Example, negative 5 divided by x is negative 5 out of x. And lastly, case 4. Negative divided by negative is positive. Example, negative 5 divided by negative x is 5 out of x without the negative signs. It's positive already. Okay, so these are just some revisions on operations involving multiplication and division with algebra. Take note of the positive and negative signs. We will now move on to the next part of this chapter 4, which is on algebraic manipulations, which involve expansion of linear expressions already. Okay, first, we will start with some simple simplification of linear expressions, and I will give you some examples. Part A, like terms are considered terms that have identical variables. For instance, xy, even though it's written like that, these two are what we call like terms. They can be added and subtracted together. C square, there's a number negative 6 and 2, but you still see a c square. We call them like terms. Now, unlike terms are things like A versus B. X squared y versus xy squared. They are unlike terms. Part C is important. Algebraic expressions can be simplified. That means you can remove brackets and collect the like terms. Example. Part C. 3a minus 4b expand becomes 3a minus 4b. Now this positive sign is actually a positive 1 by the way. If I multiply in the positive sign, positive times positive is still positive 2a. Positive times positive 3b is still positive 3b. That's why you see a positive 2a and positive 3b. Now simplification means this. 3a. Now do you see any more a's at the back? Indeed you see. You see a plus 2a. Now the plus belongs to the 2a. So 3a plus 2a rearranged like this. Negative 4b rearranged with the positive 3b. Like this. Now from here onwards, please press calculator, and I stress, press calculator together with the plus and minus signs. So for instance, what you see here, you will write, okay, 3a, the 3, in fact zoom into the 3, the 3 plus 2 will give me 5a. Now at the back, please be careful. Press the negative 4 in the calculator, plus 3, it should give you a negative 1b. But by mathematical convention, the 1 do not write. And because of this, we will write minus b instead. So 5a minus b. This is when you see a plus in the middle. But if you see a minus on the next example, now this gets a bit tricky. Minus and minus becomes plus. Minus times positive becomes minus. We already went through it just now. So now, collect the like terms. Negative 2x plus 3x, group it together. Positive 3y minus 4y, group it together. Now press calculator. Negative 2x plus 3 becomes a positive 1x. But the 1 do not write. Positive 3 minus 4 is a negative 1y. So again, the negative 1 don't write. Okay, so that is a basic examples on simplification. We will practice some questions. Alright, example, simplify the following. First one. Okay, in order to do this, we also have to remember the expansion technique. So let's revisit expansion techniques. The expression a bracket x plus y means a multiplied by x plus y. Now how do I expand this? Please use the distributive law. Now the distributive law works like this. Okay, so a times x is ax. A times positive y is positive ay. Now for minus signs, please be careful. Example will be this. Let's say you see a minus sign outside. Minus 5 times positive 7x is a negative 35x. Negative 5 times a negative 2y is a positive 10y. Can you please check using calculator? Now with that, we can answer these questions already. First one, 8m minus 4 plus 12m plus 3. Now how do I know? 4 times 2, 8m. Positive, right? 4 times negative 1 is a negative 4. Positive 3 times 4 is a positive 12. Positive 3 times positive 1 is positive 3. Now from here, simplify. 8m plus 12m gives me 20m. Negative 4 plus 3 on the calculator will give you a negative 1. Please be careful. Question 2. Negative 12n minus 18 minus 10n minus 30. Negative 12n minus 10n on the calculator gives you a negative 22n. Negative 18, negative 30 on the calculator returns you a negative 48. Part B, please be careful. Part C, negative 12x, negative 3y plus 10x minus 16y. Let's simplify this. Negative 12x plus 10x on the calculator returns you a negative 2, then x. Negative 3y minus 16y on the calculator returns you a negative 19y. Third case, the last one, just expand everything. Negative 14x plus 7y minus 63 plus 12x. Now why plus 12x? Because negative 4 times negative 3 is positive. Minus 4y plus 20. Now from here, look carefully. Negative 14x plus 12x. Press calculator, you will get a negative 2x. Positive 7y minus 4y is a positive 3y. Please check the calculator. Negative 63 plus 20 is a negative 43, and that's it. So with that, I have revised chapter 4 on algebraic manipulations already. Now if I were to very quickly point out some common mistakes, it really has got to do with the concept of the negative signs. The negative times positive is negative. Positive times negative is negative. And lastly, negative times negative equals positive. Now this one is very, very, very important. Alright?